All right, I'm going to talk about enhancing the customer experience at a service that is a music festival, specifically Reggae Rise Up Arizona. It's a multi day music festival. I'm going to talk about strategies for compatibility management and encouraging positive interactions. So, jumping into it, like I said, it's a multi day music festival. It's outside at Tempe Town Lake. There's multiple stages, there's food, there's merch, multiple bar stations, water stations, there's VIP, general admission tickets, and security and medical staff there in case it's needed. So, as far as the customer interaction characteristics, because it's a music festival, obviously there's going to be close physical proximity. So the festival's layouts encouraging that. There's going to be crowds at stages. There's going to be lines at the porta potties, at the gates to get in, but it also gives a chance for communal experience. There's going to be verbal interactions, people talking to each other, singing along, talking about the bands in between sets. Another chance for community. There's a bunch of activities. There's people painting. They're doing graffiti stuff. There's the live music performances, obviously. People making food, food trucks. There's merch vendors making custom shirts and hats. Uh, there's rest areas. As far as the customer mix goes, it's definitely heterogeneous. So very diverse, all ages. People traveling from all across the country, different energy levels. You've got first timers, and you got people that are coming out there every year. One thing all these people have in common, like I said, they're going to be waiting for services. So whether that's at the gate to get in, at the bar to grab a drink, um, at the porta potties, merch areas, that's another opportunity for interaction between these different patrons. So as far as compatibility management goes, you have the positive influences of it. So it can enhance the festival experience. You're wanting to contribute to the areas that are going to improve enjoyment. So, like I said, the close physical proximity, it's allowing for that chance of that shared experience. You want these interactions to be positive, like chance for connection. You have all these diverse customers, but they have one thing in common. They're all out there to have a good time. They're all out there to listen to music that they both enjoy. So that gives that chance for that social connection interaction. It's important to manage the waiting times and designing these spaces to boost that energy and enjoyment. On the flip side, that's people all waiting in line to get in. You got the negative consequences of poor compatibility management. So that can lead to discomfort, dissatisfaction, issues like sightline conflicts. Short person can't see anything. They're stuck behind a bunch of tall guys. Waiting in line frustrations, insufficient space, overcrowding. That can leave people feeling overwhelmed. Um, it can result in that negative atmosphere. So, managing the compatibility of these experiences and trying to minimize the conflicts between customers, I think is important for a festival environment. And these customers, they're going to have an influence on each other. As far as the positive influences go, like I said, the community bond, they're all there for their love of music. We want to encourage that sense of camaraderie. It's kind of like we said in the lecture with the baseball games, like the crowd adds to the experience. Um, they're part of what going to the music festival is about. So I think a festival can encourage new friendships. Um, you're sharing experience together. You have that common interest. You have memorable moments together, photos. And like the baseball game, when the vibes are good between the crowd around you, that's going to improve the overall event itself in your mind. So that's influencing you. That vibrant atmosphere, that space to relax and enjoy the moment together, and with shared fan bases, that's improving it all. And reducing anxiety levels. So this might not be, everybody might not be comfortable in a large crowd like this, um, or it might be their first concert experience. So when the crowd is welcoming and the layout is correct and it's not overcrowded and the vibes are encouraging, friendly, welcoming atmosphere, I think that reduces anxiety levels and it makes people have a more comfortable, positive experience overall with the event. On the flip side, you're always going to have those negative customer influences. You got your classic line jumpers, they're skipping you, leaving that sense of that bad taste in your mouth. It's not fair, when somebody cuts you off, you're waiting in line. You also got your vapors, especially probably concerned to families with kids. Can definitely lead to some conflicts with different expectations. Everybody has different expectations of what the experience should be. Like I said earlier, sightline conflicts. I got this girl, she clearly can't see what's on stage. So that can lead into some conflict because everybody's paying general admission, but if you can't see anything, you're going to be frustrated. And this is more of a broader category, but localized tension in like the area that you're at. This could arise from all kinds of reasons. Somebody's drank too much and they're being a jerk, or this is just an example, but somebody's taking up all this space with their large blankets, and it's just not the best use of the crowd space. Really depends on the event. But the idea here is that there's an uncomfortable atmosphere that's set up by people around them. Let's see. We will go into strategies for compatibility management. So I think Reggae Rise Up does a really good job. There was a couple things I thought, just a few ideas to improve like the physical space and give the best odds for customer interactions. I thought like clearly marking zones, if they did like a chill blanket zone for the guys that want to have the blankets, and it is hard work standing up that long if you're out there for 6 hours. But having like that dedicated zone so people aren't in conflict and stepping on each other's blankets. If you had a zone towards the back where people could kind of hang out and have that, and it's dedicated for that. And alternatively, having this is the area where people are going to be jumping around, just so you're aware. I think having those expectations for patrons and like it's marked, it's going to make less conflict between the customer bases because they can go where they fit in. And same for the family no smoke. Like you have a designated smoke area, then maybe the guys that want to vape or smoke whatever they want, they can go to that area and know they're not going to be annoying anybody with that. That can also be part of the pre-event communications. So you have like a zone map on a brochure. Maybe it's sent out with the tickets. Maybe it's in the mobile app. But helping set those expectations ahead of time, and people can plan, oh yeah, we want to be over here because it's by this bar, or it's by the restrooms, or we can meet each other here. Also the physical separation, you can have smoking areas like some kind of barriers between zones, just trying to create the layout to minimize conflict. You can also do that with like the overall culture, the code of conduct. You're having friendly reminder posters. I'm going to go more into that in a moment. So, the strategies for employee training and the queue management. So at a festival, they're like the ambassadors. So wearing distinct colored shirts so people can like spot them quick in a crowd. I've got a question for you. Where are the restrooms? Or a kid's lost. You can be like, oh, this guy works here. How do I find my parents? As far as security staff goes, I think training should focus on de-escalation. If there is escalation between customers, that can leave a really bad impact on both parties. So just trying to have those techniques ready to manage the conflicts and get it resolved quickly and peacefully as possible. I've seen this at other venues, but mobile sales solutions it's like a technique to reduce the lines that are going to be at some of the drink and food vendors. But you have a guy that's going out regularly. He's filling up like a mobile drink carrier. He's got pre-made cocktails or canned drinks, and he's meeting people where they're at. Maybe they don't want to leave their spot they've secured. And it's just taking tension off those lines, and you can grab a drink right there and pay and not have to move and lose your friends. This was an idea I had because in the lecture we talked about anxiety when you don't know a wait time. Maybe it was in the textbook. But I thought you could have like a little board at some of these crowded bar stations that shows like an ETA of how long to be served. If you have a little bit of anxiety, like I need to catch this band, it's going to play in 15 minutes, and you see, oh, like the average wait time's 10, I'm going to be fine, I'll be able to make it. And you could get that information by making estimates from the register. You could get some data from that, or maybe a security camera, or you could have somebody actually clocking, average wait times. This is something more in regards to promoting like the culture of the festival. You want to leave that chance for connection, that positive experience. So I think I've seen this at a few events. You put signs up, you're encouraging that culture of put your phones down, meet somebody new. Messages like help a neighbor find a view, make sure everybody around you is doing good. You're enhancing that sense of community. You're trying to make that shared experience, and just everybody's looking out for each other. But to have that, we need to have some measurable KPIs. We need like hard data to look at so we know we're improving. So these are just a few examples I thought of, but checking out those median wait times, ballpark number, like try to keep it under 10 minutes. Like I said, looking at timestamps, trying to manage that flow effectively. Soliciting complaints, we talked about that in the lecture, how important getting those complaints are. So I thought maybe putting QR codes on the wristbands that are actually to get in, or on signs all around the event. And then we can compare that to last year's numbers, or we can look at previous days' numbers and just see if we're improving and what areas we need to work on. Experience satisfaction. So on the flip side, you could send out a survey. All these tickets are usually sent to email. So you have their email, and you could do a post-event survey and maybe reward somebody a gift card for their feedback, or like a lottery for a gift card. And compare that to last year's numbers too. Do we see more people willing to give us 5 stars? They had a great time and they're ready to buy tickets for next year's already. Queue abandonment, are people getting in line and saying, no, I'm not waiting in this, and leaving? It's kind of the same metric as before. It's just looking at people actually turning around and leaving. Yeah, it's just a few ideas for enhancing the customer experience as far as the service goes for Reggae Rise Up Arizona. Thank you.